name's Quest, and tonight I just got back from watching The Amateur, the new Rami Malek movie, which, if you watch the trailers, you're thinking is a very generic revenge story where this guy's wife has been murdered, and so he wants to be trained to go hunt down her killers in this kind of spy thriller revenge story. And in many ways, it does feel like a million other movies that you have seen before. But it also, in some very strange ways, it completely subverts a lot of the tropes that you come to expect. And it's kind of weird, and I don't think many people are going to be happy with the way that it subverts those tropes, especially if you're walking into this based on the marketing and you're like, okay, I definitely know what's going to happen because, you know, he wants to be trained, and so, oh, here's Lawrence Fishburne, he's going to train him how to be a killer, and he has to like really work past his like ability to take a life in order to get revenge, and eventually he's able to like do everything really well. And yeah, that's not what this movie is. Okay, so on the whole, I'm just gonna say up front, I think this movie is fine. It's good to fine. It's watchable. You can wait till streaming. It's, you know, it's nothing special really. It does feel very familiar. However, I will also say, and I'm going to have to go into spoilers in order to get into some more details. Yeah, in a lot of ways, it's definitely just, it's a very unexpected movie. And I find myself questioning several decisions that were made. Partly, I'm like, okay, that's different. It's kind of smart. It's kind of cool. And then also I'm like, but does this all make sense? What happened with this character? Why was that character introduced? Was there some kind of major rewrite, or was there like deleted scenes happening that would make this make more sense? I don't know. But on the whole, I think it's a fine thriller movie, but it definitely feels like, okay, you've seen lots of this before and probably done much better. So I'd wait for streaming. Now I do want to go ahead and jump into some spoilers because there is some stuff to talk about here. So here we go. Spoiler time. Okay. So one thing that the trailers really don't kind of let you in on is that basically in the first act of this movie, our character who works for the CIA, he's been in contact with someone, some hacker, and this hacker sends him a bunch of information that is incriminating to some higher ups, like his, you know, his whoever is in charge of him, right? Not the very top. Basically, you have these like, you know, multiple officers in the CIA all kind of like doing their own thing. A lot of it's illegal, shady stuff that they've tried to cover up, and now he's found out about it. And basically what happens is that after that, you think that this is going to be like the main plot, but it's not. After that, his wife is going on this trip and she gets killed in this seemingly random hostage negotiation terrorist plot, right? And so what he does is he uses all that dirt that he has on the CIA director, or the guy, and he's like, okay, I want to go after my wife's killers. I have all this incriminating illegal stuff that you did, and basically train me to be a super spy badass guy that I know the CIA can do. Train me to do this so I can go avenge my wife. Otherwise, I'm gonna leak all this crazy information that I have, right? So it feels already like, okay, that could be a movie on its own, but okay, now we got this wife thing that happened. Okay, and you're thinking it's gonna be like a John Wick, right? Like this guy wants revenge, and now it's a revenge story. He's gonna like become this super badass. He's gonna get trained by Lawrence Fishburne. He's gonna learn how to do all this awesome fighting and killing and shooting, and you know, we're gonna have like a montage where he learns how to shoot better and he learns how to kill people better. You know, like he sucks at it at first, but after a bunch of training, he gets really good at it. But again, no, that's not what happens. It starts off that way. He starts off in a shooting range and he's really bad at it, and you think, okay, but Lawrence Fishburne is the Obi-Wan, right? He's gonna train him to be better. Nope. Lawrence Fishburne straight up tells him, like, I cannot train you. You're not a killer. You're not good at this. I can't train you to be better at this. And you think that this is going to be just some harsh words from the mentor figure, but no, the CIA straight up finds the leverage that he had on them, and then the CIA says, okay, you can kill him now, Lawrence Fishburne. Go ahead and kill him. We don't need him anymore. And now it's just him running away from the guy who was teaching him while simultaneously trying to go hunt down his wife's killers. So now Lawrence Fishburne is not the Obi-Wan, he's an antagonist. So now he's trying to run away from Lawrence Fishburne. And so you're like, okay, took a swerve, did not go the way you kind of thought it might go. And slowly he, one by one, he starts hunting down his wife's killers, but he never learned how to kill with a gun. He never becomes John Wick. He never becomes Jason Bourne. He doesn't know how to fight hand-to-hand combat. He doesn't know gun kata. He can't do all this like awesome action hero stuff, right? What he can do is come up with an elaborate plan where he can rig a device to explode something or destroy something in the right location. So he has to like study where these guys are they allergic to this stuff, do they go swimming in this glass thing, can I mess with that thing, that way it'll blow up if I press this button, and like that's his plan, and that's pretty much the whole movie. So if you go into this thinking that you're gonna get a John Wick or a Jason Bourne, like this meek little guy becomes this ultimate badass because he's trained by Lawrence Fishburne, it's not that story. That never happens. He just thinks his way out of situations, and by the end of the movie, he ends up not killing the major bad guy who actually killed his wife. He ends up not taking his revenge because of some kind of like, oh, I'm not really a killer, oh, I'm not going to use this gun to shoot you kind of thing, and instead he ends up getting him arrested, which, okay, but you did kill those other 3 people, so it feels like you still could have set up some kind of trap or something, but sure, okay, I guess the lesson is maybe you don't have to be a killer. I guess maybe that's the lesson. I don't like this movie feels like it's trying to like have a lesson by the end of it, because he never learned how to be good at killing, and they kind of talk about how like, oh yeah, taking a life, it takes a part of you, like you never get used to it, and I'm like, all right, interesting. And again, the movie was not marketed that way. The movie definitely made you think that you're walking into a John Wick situation, or at least someone who's not John Wick, and then they train and learn how to become John Wick. So fascinating that this is where it all kind of ends. Something else. So John Bernthal is in this movie. You might have seen him in the trailer for like a second. He is introduced early on in this movie as this really awesome badass, right? And when I say that, I mean that Rami Malek is sitting in a lunchroom with a bunch of other CIA, like, computer people, right? Like lab work, right? And they're all talking with each other. And then John Bernthal walks into the cafeteria and they're like, oh my God, look, it's that guy. He's super awesome. He's like an actual badass assassin guy, right? Like we all sit behind desks all day and do the computer work. That guy's a field agent who actually goes out and gets shit done, right? And the movie makes it a point that Rami Malek and John Bernthal's characters are friends. They know each other. They talk to each other, right? So you're like, okay, maybe Lawrence Fishburne is not going to end up training him and becoming his Obi-Wan. Maybe John Bernthal's character will be the Obi-Wan. He'll be the one to train him to become this badass, which again does not happen. John Bernthal only shows up one other time, kind of at the beginning of like the third act, basically to tell him like, hey, you don't have to do all this killing, you can just go home, do you really want to just die in this country? Like just go home. And then Rami Malek's like, no, I'm not going home, I gotta finish my mission. And then John Bernthal leaves, and that's it. And to be clear what I'm saying here, John Bernthal's character is introduced as this really awesome badass. Like people are talking to each other like, oh my God, there's that guy, he's so cool, right? He does not have a single action scene, and he only shows up one other time in the movie, and it's not plot relevant at all. You could entirely cut out John Bernthal from this movie and it wouldn't affect anything. He doesn't save his life at any point. He doesn't get in any kind of like fight with bad guys or nothing. Nothing happens. It's very strange. And this is where I kind of believe that John Bernthal must have had some other scene in this movie that would have, you know, Chekhov's gun, right? Like, you introduce something at the beginning, it's got to pay off at the end. John Bernthal is introduced as this awesome badass, and it never pays off. And he, like, it's very weird how it just never goes anywhere, and then he's gone from the movie. So there must have been something taken out of this movie, some other little plot beat where he comes in and saves his life from somebody, and then that, you know, that's why he's in the movie. But no, it never happened. So I don't know why he's in here. Very, very strange. And then by the end of it, you know, the bad CIA people are arrested. The good CIA people, like the actual like director, you know, they basically do what's never going to happen in real life. You know, they come out front saying like, hey, yeah, there were some bad CIA officers that we had. They were leading illegal missions. They did a bunch of illegal stuff. We got to try and be better. You know, we placed them under arrest. Don't worry. Like, you know, they would never, the agency would never admit to so much illegal, horrible things happening under their watch, right? Like, without any repercussions at all. I'm sorry, but no. Anyways, the other thing is that Lawrence Fishburne, his character, weirdly enough, he does get a bunch of action scenes. He chases Rami Malek around. He's like going upstairs and downstairs and breaking down doors, and he even gets in a fight scene. There's like one good fight scene between Lawrence Fishburne and some other unnamed CIA agent. They don't give this guy a name, but we don't know who this guy is. They get in a fight, and Lawrence Fishburne barely wins. And I'm like, okay, this movie has like one good actual, like, you know, secret agent fight here, right? Like Jason Bourne style fight. Lawrence Fishburne wins, but he does get shot, and they do make it very much look like he died. But then at the very end of the movie, Lawrence Fishburne comes back, and basically just to say, hey, good job, you know, I didn't think you had it in you. Which, I don't understand what he really meant by that, because Lawrence Fishburne was right. He never learns how to shoot people or kill people. Like, that doesn't really happen. You know, like, aside from his, like, elaborate, weird little mouse traps, he doesn't, like, become John Wick. So I don't know. Lawrence Fishburne was kind of right. He wasn't, like, proven wrong, really. I don't know. So, and that's pretty much where it ends. You know, like, it ends on this note where he, you know, he kind of, like, is able to accept his wife's death, and he gets in the plane that he was building that she had got for him, and kind of ends on this note of, like, him just kind of missing his wife, and that's it. That's the movie. You know. So I don't know, this was a strange one. This was just a very strange movie, because the whole time it's like teasing these tropes. You know, you think he's gonna become a badass, you think Lawrence Fishburne is the Obi-Wan, you think John Bernthal's character is gonna come back and do something awesome because he's been hyped up at the very beginning. And then none of those things happen. Instead, it's more of a, hey, I'm getting my revenge, but also I'm not a killer, but also I'm putting together some pretty elaborate, like, Saw style traps. You know, maybe not Saw style, but, you know, like, definitely like Home Alone, like, oh, you trigger that explosive, you can't move or it'll blow up. Like, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know, this was a strange one. I definitely think that if you're going in here for more action oriented stuff, you're gonna be so pissed off. I feel like you're gonna get like an hour into it and then maybe realize that the only person who's had any actual action scene was Lawrence Fishburne, and that's it. That's the only action scene you're getting. There's no more fights, there's no more gun shootouts. That was as much as you're gonna get. So, like, even by the end of it, by the way, this is my other thing, even by the end of it, he's confronting his wife's killer. He decides that he cannot shoot his wife's killer. He's not a killer. He can't do that. He's not going to shoot him with a gun. Instead, he's tricked him into sailing his ship into this other country's waters, right? Like their domain. And then he's alerted the authorities so that they'll get arrested. Even the bad guys' henchmen, who have guns everywhere and are like waving them around, the bad guy's like, no, 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 put your guns down, just surrender, it's over. I'm like, yeah, you're not even gonna give me like an ending shootout that the character has to survive. Like we don't get that even. Like it's kind of wild. One last thing about this movie, and this was, unless I misunderstood it, this is how it seemed to go down. It is revealed late in the movie that the group that he's been hunting down, this group of people that did this whole like, hostage situation, turns out they are a mercenary group who actually is being hired by the CIA, the bad CIA guy, the bad guy. They've been hired by him to do several different missions, and so you think that maybe they're gonna do this big reveal that it was actually the plan the whole time to have Rami Malek's wife killed in this hostage situation, and that was because he found out all this incriminating evidence. And you think like, oh, is this the big reveal? Is there gonna be like, oh yeah, this wasn't like a coincidence that your wife was killed here, like this was all part of the plan, the CIA guy was in charge of all of it? But no, not even that happens. The the fact that the CIA hires these mercenaries and they did this whole hostage situation, and the wife of a CIA agent dies there, the fact that that happened was a complete coincidence, a complete accident, was not part of any kind of master plan, had nothing to do with anyone's plan. That's just a thing that happened, and now we're here. Like I don't know, this is just such a strange movie. Like it feels like obvious things that should be connecting, like in any other plot, any other movie or story you're building. You're like, okay, here's your big reveal moment. There's no reveal. Here's your guy doing his training montage. There's no training montage. They go to the gun shootout once, and then he sucks at shooting a gun, and then they're like, I guess you suck at killing. You can't do this. You suck. You're horrible. and that's the way it is for the rest of the movie. So, anyways, that's The Amateur. I don't know, guys. It's a competent enough thriller. I would say it's more of like a drama thriller than anything else. It's definitely not much of an action movie. Like you get some kind of cool moments, but that's really it. So yeah, if you're looking for like kind of like a vigilante thriller, spy thriller with like a lot of action, you just got to go watch the Jason Bourne movies again, I guess, because that's not what this is. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about The Amateur. I'll see you guys later. Bye.